legs forward, and the woman cries.
10 underrated space horror movies that are too good. By nature, we humans are always intrigued by the unknown. And what is more unknown and mysterious than space? We have all had questions in our minds as to what lies in wait in the unending darkness of space. And the concept has also interested some prominent filmmakers. This has resulted in the idea of space horror, where the story focuses on a threat from space, usually through alien creatures. The genre also seems to interest sci-fi fans because such stories are never complete without spaceships, cosmic destinations, and tons of space jargon. In this video, we bring to you some of the best space horror movies that feature everything from space monsters to deadly alien creatures. We know so little about the universe, and the mystery of not knowing holds the potential of some horrific presence up there somewhere.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Screamers, 1995. In a futuristic world, on a distant mining planet, scientists create a self-replicating species of killing machines so that they can hunt down all human enemies. But without proper human guidance, the robots have self-programmed to a high state where their goal is to obliterate all life forms. A military commander has to travel through the devastated landscape of this far-off planet so as to negotiate a peace treaty. But his journey will take him through these murderous robots. Screamers is the perfect example that you don't need a huge budget for a great movie. Based on a short story by Philip K. Dick, this movie adds a lot of its own elements to make a unique plot. It's not at all a mindless slasher flick and has deeper meanings of humanity, war, and the ill effects of abundant technology. You have the RoboCop star Peter Weller as the protagonist, and Jennifer Rubin plays the perfect support. With the low budget, the special effects are not the best asset of this movie, but the script makes up for all its shortcomings. The screamers, or the murderous robots, are terrifying and give out a high-pitched scream before they slice and dice the humans. This movie also offers some exciting fight sequences and the wonderful gritty portrayal of the futuristic world. If you're up for well-made sci-fi with a complete story, Screamers is just the right pick for you. The Cloverfield Paradox, 2018. This story takes you into a futuristic society where an energy crisis has plagued the world. In such a situation, a group of scientists test the Shepard particle accelerator, hoping to solve the energy problem of all countries. However, the experiment goes horribly wrong and ends up opening a portal to another dimension, with an alternate reality or a parallel Earth. The scientists must act quickly to return to their own dimension and deal with the unfathomable powers that have been released unwillingly. Firstly, we must remind you that this is a pulpy sci-fi entertainer, and so you shouldn't really scrutinize it through the lenses of scientific accuracy. The story is filled with suspense, and the concept is pretty innovative. That being said, we must admit that this movie is nowhere close to the two previous movies in the Cloverfield series. The idea here is to deliver a sense of dread, and the makers are partially successful, with some weird occurrences sure to give you the chills. When the crew starts to panic as they don't seem to find the Earth, you start feeling the heat as well. The monster that appears at the very end of the movie is gigantic and intimidating, and credit is due for the special effects team. This movie does fall in the generic sci-fi B-movie category, but if you're game for the entertainment on offer, you won't be disappointed. Event Horizon, 1997. On its maiden voyage, the starship Event Horizon has disappeared under mysterious circumstances. After 7 years, it is back, and a rescue crew is sent to investigate the spaceship. They are tasked with rescuing any survivors on board, but they soon discover that Event Horizon has brought back something terrifying that leads to horrific consequences. Can the crew survive the unspeakable evil entity on the spaceship? The combination of sci-fi and horror seems to interest many, and Event Horizon deals with both aspects with finesse. The director, Paul Anderson, successfully provides us with the requisite chills and keeps us on the edge of our seats. The very look of the spaceship inspires fear, and the dark, empty hallways are eerie to say the least. There is a disturbing amount of violence and gore that provides for an absolute bloodbath. The initial cut was even more graphic, and around 30 minutes of footage was omitted to tone down the violence. The makers did not compromise on the special effects, and visually, Event Horizon is set to win your heart. As for the acting performances, Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne are impressive in their respective roles. If you plan to watch this, we recommend that you do so alone, at night, with the lights off, for the best effect.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'm heading back up. Holy shit! They found him. Get the car.
Apollo 18, 2011. Apollo 18 was a secret mission by the United States, where they sent 3 astronauts to explore the moon. When they land on the surface, they discover the dead body of a Soviet cosmonaut and hear some strange noises. Their worst fears are materialized when they realize the presence of something deadly. This movie offers a fictional take on why the US never returned to the moon following this mission. The found footage style of filming does leave an intriguing element of thrill in the minds of the audience. This movie has adopted that style with such expertise that you tend to forget that it is a work of fiction. Apollo 18 absolutely nails it when it comes to the realistic sets, particularly the lunar landscape where much of the movie takes place. With brilliant special effects, every scene comes alive, leaving not a speck of doubt. The dangerous creatures are menacing and created with attention to detail. The camera work deserves a special word for the clever shots that keep things hidden purposely to add to the suspense. All the actors have delivered the goods, and Lloyd Owen, Ryan Robbins, and Warren Christie have just the right expressions to highlight their crisis. As a viewer, you would constantly feel the impending doom and anticipate the worst outcome. Apollo 18 is a genuinely creepy sci-fi horror movie, but our personal opinion is that the climax could have been better. Pandorum, 2009. The movie is premised in the year 2174. When the Earth has exhausted all its natural resources. A spacecraft is launched along with crew members to travel to a distant planet, Tanis, that could be the answer to all our troubles. 2 of these crew members awaken from their hypersleep only to find that the spaceship is abandoned. Their colleagues are missing, and there seems to be some kind of deadly life form in the ship that is after their lives. Now, they must survive this horrific creature with nowhere to run. Pandorum borrows heavily from other sci-fi movies, but that's not to say that it isn't entertaining. The movie begins with a guy waking up, and his memory is not fully functional yet, but there is trouble on board. It is perfect to draw your attention and make you focus throughout the film as you try to guess the possible outcome for the crew members. Some of the scenes are sure to make you jump in your seats, and the creature effects are fantastic. However, it would have been better if they kept the creatures in the dark to add to their mysterious nature. Ben Foster and Dennis Quaid shoulder the acting responsibilities and do a great job at it. There are some nice twists to the plot that you would be least expecting. Pandorum didn't exactly have the successful run at the box office, but developed a cult following over the years. If you want a nice mixture of adventure, surprise, and space horror, it's going to be worth your time.
Hey, you!
Life, 2017. At the International Space Station, a crew of 6 scientists is studying a sample that can be a possible hint at an extraterrestrial life form. To their horror, they learn that the sample is actually a species that caused the extinction to the planet of Mars. It also proves to be much smarter than they anticipated, and in no time, this rapidly growing organism threatens their survival. The crew must find a way to kill this monster before it's too late, and it decimates the Earth as well. This movie is space horror with an interesting creature feature. And while many people thought that the creature's appearance could have been better, we feel it's pretty amazing. The opening concept that probes hard with the question of what would happen if such a hostile alien force attacked is enough to stir up the excitement in you. The first 40 minutes or so build up the tension to unleash the action-packed second half. The characters could have been more elaborate, and in some instances belie the fact that they are intelligent and professional astronauts. With actors like Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal in the mix of things, the cast and production values are top-notch. Overall, Life is a bone-chilling plot clubbed with some unexpected twists to make for a great entertainer on your movie night. Pitch Black, 2000. A space transport vehicle crashes on a desert planet with its passengers. There are only 11 passengers, including all kinds of people, from bounty hunters to an escaped convict. They discover that the planet is inhabited by some bloodthirsty nocturnal creatures that feast in the dark. With a long and dark eclipse about to commence, time is running out for them to plan an escape to the space shuttle. The escaped convict, with his surgically enhanced eyes that allow him to see in the dark, is the best chance the passengers have to escape through this alive. Let's face it, this movie is more about Vin Diesel and his heroism than anything else. However, it also has an interesting premise that will excite all sci-fi fans. It is a survival story, and the element of suspense and thrill keeps your eyes glued to the screen. The idea is derived from David Twohy's unused idea for the movie Alien. You have some diverse characters, with a holy man, a bounty hunter with a drug habit, a pilot fighting her conscience, and of course, the dreaded convict. Vin Diesel steals the show with the portrayal of a character who is an intimidating convict. Creepy, but also efficient when it comes to saving the others. As per the original ending, his character was to be killed by one of the creatures. But the makers changed this to allow the possibility of sequels. We can't end a review of Pitch Black without praising the visual effects, where the contrast of blues, yellows, and oranges create a delightful view of the 3 different suns. The special effects are adequate and not superficial, like in some of the movies of this genre. This is certainly one of the better space horror flicks that we have come across. Jason X, 2001. Remember the horrific villain from Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees? This movie deals with his character in a unique way, and the story yet again revolves around him. His body has been cryogenically frozen to contain his evil, along with that of a scientist named Rowan. Many centuries later, when the Earth is no longer inhabitable and the humans have moved to another planet, a team of students awaken him and the scientist on a spaceship. As Jason starts to wreak havoc yet again and kill the students one by one, the scientist, along with the surviving students, must stop him fast. The idea behind this movie is to explore the possibility of this infamous character in outer space. And it works if you're looking for a guilty pleasure after a tiring day. He returns with a new machete and a new look, but his murderous attitude remains the same. The claustrophobia of the spacecraft, the danger of a psycho killer, and the tongue-in-cheek humor makes this a fun movie to watch. Kane Hodder plays a menacing Jason, and the beautiful Lexa Doig is a treat to watch. Watch out for the surprise appearance of David Cronenberg in an amazing cameo. There's a good amount of violence and killings to keep you going. Some scenes, such as the battle in the engineer's room or the stalking in the lab, will leave you shaken. The special effects ensure that it doesn't appear ridiculous at any moment. Disengage your brain, pop a beer, and set sail on this fun journey. Sunshine, 2007. It is the year 2057, and as the sun begins to die, it spells doom on the future of the Earth. With survival at stake, a group of astronauts is sent on a perilous mission where they have to reignite the dying sun by triggering a nuclear fission bomb. The mission fails, and the spaceship disappeared without a trace. After 7 years, another attempt is made, and this spaceship finds the emergency signal of the previous spaceship from Mercury. They decide to make a pass to pick up the bomb from the previous spaceship, but some horrible consequences await the crew. Can they still ace the mission and save humanity? This movie literally pushes you to think about the most extreme circumstances where our life source is dying. Danny Boyle's impeccable direction and unique style of storytelling add diversity to the movie, as he seems to be unable to settle on one particular genre. It is a mix of everything from a disaster flick to a sci-fi thriller, and promises pure unadulterated tension. The cast of Chris Evans, Cillian Murphy, and Cliff Curtis all provide decent performances that make the characters believable. The special effects are indeed special, and some of the scenes, especially the final moments, are breathtaking to watch. The CGI of the sun is impressive, considering the low budget of this movie. The sound design also deserves appreciation, as they actually took sounds received from space, captured by Midwestern University, and put them to use. Even without aliens and space battles, the plot packs in enough excitement to hold you still for the entire movie. Appealing.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.